I might be influenced by a mentor and consciously pick something, okay, I'm really excited about that particular thing and I want to work on that and I want to think about that and dive deep down into that and really consciously go in a particular direction. Right now, I'm dancing so much, all the time. I'm picking really exciting music that's different than music I've been dancing to before, and it's just physically inspiring me to be different. And I kind of noticed, wow, I'm really moving in different ways, responding to this music differently, and kind of a different ambiance of what I'm doing these days. I'm still classically myself, but it's gone in this other direction without me even really knowing. I'm just dancing and dancing and dancing all the time. And I think that's really the way that you perfect. It's either you're consciously diving in, dancing, 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 or you're dancing and it just evolves. But the key is that you can't just kind of sit on your couch and decide, oh, I'm going to go over there and it happens. It really has to be something that you're actively doing all the time.
Well, over the past few years, I've been very fortunate in that I've had several opportunities to do non-traditional work in video and theatrical settings. So on the one hand, I have been trying new things like crazy, but at the core of how I'm dancing, I'm not actually sure that my style has evolved that much. In terms of pure aesthetic, I think there's a distinct signature to the way that I move that really has stayed quite consistent across everything that I've done. I've always been very invested in training for precision and taking care to articulate through as full of a range of motion as possible. So in all my dances, no matter what the conceptual idea is, the technical qualities, I think, are always very consistent. There's a basic, clean, supple look that's always there. If anything has changed, though, beyond style and technique, I think it is probably that the presence of my personality in my dances is more apparent now than maybe it was. What I have always loved about belly dance is its softness and its subtlety. But I used to really struggle with the fact that for many audiences, at least Western audiences in nightclub and restaurant settings, a lot of that subtlety was totally lost. So as a result, I started focusing more on prop work, fast finger cymbals, adding high energy and acrobatic elements into my dancing, which was a good development to a point because it really increased my, my technical range, but it was maybe not the most artistically honest direction to take my career. I'm not a party person. I don't have an uproarious personality, so it was not a good choice for me to focus on these loud dances. Now I'm very much back to lyrical work, still using some of the flashier moves, but for texture, where it's contextually called for, not with the same kind of shock and awe, attention-demanding, approval-seeking motivation that maybe was there once. I think we all have a tendency to devalue our natural gifts, and it was incredibly useful for me to realize and to remind myself that anyone can do splits and back bends, and not anyone, other dancers, athletically elite dancers, can do these tricks and these gimmicks. But there's really no one else who can create work that is like mine in terms of lyricism, intricacy, details, delicacy. These are, that's where my passion is. That's what I take pride in. That's what I want to be known for, and that is the creative imprint that I want on my work. So, again, it's not really an evolution, because I feel like my career sort of went in a big loop and left me back doing the same things that I always wanted to do when I started out, except hopefully now with a little more polish. But what is behind that, I guess, is just the desire to be honest and perhaps having greater courage to be honest. I won't spend time on projects unless they genuinely appeal to my artistic sensibilities, which sometimes are a little different from maybe what's in the mainstream.
In terms of like dance technique and movement, I'm always working pretty much on the same vocabulary, the same structure. American cabaret, classic Egyptian cabaret, and a lot of folklore. So that foundation, I just keep, trying to improve, trying to build on that. So it hasn't really changed or diversified very much. But what has changed for me radically in terms of performance is the music that I dance to. When I started performing, I had my very carefully constructed set list, and it was all George Abdo and the Flames of Araby. Classic American cabaret belly dance music. And I loved it. And as I'm dancing more and at different places, I created other set lists. One is more Greek, more Turkish, more Arabic, but pretty much all with the same classical type of music, traditional type of music, if you will. And for me, the real game changer that I remember in my particular career was Amr Diab with his song, Noraline, I believe is the actual name of the song, but Habibi was the English version of this song. This song was just a monster hit. It really, I'm no music historian, but I would say it really helped put Egyptian pop music on the world stage. And like many dancers here in New York, we're all running out to Rashid Music Sales in Brooklyn to get a copy of this album. And I would presume that many dancers at the time did exactly what I did. You have all these carefully structured playlists. I'm not going to just, throw out my whole routine here, but took that particular song and put it in at the end as the final party song, because it was just a total win-win. Western audiences loved Habibi. They could relate to it. It's a very westernized song. That's part of what has made Amr Diab so famous. It has that kind of pop, clubby beat, and I think Westerners felt much more comfortable getting up and dancing to that and just, letting go and enjoying the moment. Meanwhile, your Middle Eastern audiences, were crazy about it. I mean, this was like an enormous kind of cultural sensation, the way this song spread. And, as a dancer, you're kind of showing this cultural relevance that you're actually performing to the music that many of them are listening to in their houses, in their cars. So, it seemed very daring, at least to me at the time, that with all of my classical and traditional music, I'm going to put this pop piece in. But you roll forward a few years from there, and guess what? Check out, I've got all new playlists. And almost all of those playlists are largely composed of pop music, whether it's Greek or it's Turkish or it's Arabic, because this is what the audience is responding to. I mean, is it as rich? Is it as nuanced? Is it as artistically satisfying to dance to? No, let's be realistic, it's just not. But like all pop music, pop music, it's very fun to consume. It's like candy. It's fun to eat it. It's easy to digest it. This is why it has the following that it has. And when you're working in commercial venues, in your club, your restaurant, your hookah lounge, they want their clients, their patrons, to be happy. And if this pop music gets them all up, gets them all dancing, then they're happy. They're not really that concerned about your artistic interpretations of the music. So you cannot be the dancer going in there with kind of old-fashioned music if everyone else is using the contemporary music. Now, even as the pop music was kind of infiltrating, and of necessity is changing your show and changing how you dance a little bit, I remember working on a piece for a show. I had been invited to be in some kind of a showcase, and I wanted to do a song by Godsmack. So this is like American alternative metal, nothing whatsoever to do with belly dance. And I went to the promoter and I asked her, the woman who was putting on the show, I asked for permission, because I would not have dreamed of showing up and doing something that had absolutely no relationship to belly dance or even the Middle East in general, and got her permission to do this. I would say if you look at the contemporary world of belly dance, like right now, I'm not even sure that some of the newer dancers would even think to ask permission before showing up at a belly dance community event and performing to, you know, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, anything. It's kind of become an anything goes situation. So in terms of I guess how my dance has evolved, or what has to me really, really significantly changed in my dance, it's been the music.